It is wrong?
No. Now it's yes. We're going for the relaxed version.
Yeah. Well, I don't want it to be all uptight.
So how's the coffee doing?
Oh yeah, do we want to have coffee?
I've been brought over here to make this feel more homey, like to be like, cause it's like, oh yeah, just hanging here with my friend.
Yeah, my friend that I have. I don't want it to too hot.
No, it's good.
So you had milk in yours though. So
No, mine's good.
Mine's hot. So basically, we've both realized like where we are right now, and people who make stuff for online and people who want to do stuff for not online, that we come up against this problem of doing a lot of hard work and having not a lot of anything to show for the hard work that we've been doing. And it's funny because it's very much, we've realized it's a problem that's only for this crowd. It's for the internet, filmmaker person, where it's like you feel like you have to be delivering something that explains, this is what I've been doing, I swear to God I've been working, and here it is, and here's the proof.
By sheer contrast, we're used to being able to make stuff and immediately get to share it. So in addition to there being an expectation, I feel like we're used to like come up with an idea, we film it,
Right.
we put it out, and then people let you know
immediately. But the other thing that's changing now, and both of us are very much in the same spot here, is that now we're trying to do bigger things and things that take longer to even get to a point where you would want to show anybody.
Yeah.
So it's like just by virtue of the types of projects that we're doing are changing, the point of gratification changes along with it.
I guess to some degree it's a bit of a dose of reality, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like previous generations, I suppose that's, you just wrote things and hope that one day you'd get a movie. You might just write a script, spend a few months, finish it and go, and put it in the bin. Like that's like what like your most people's experience is, like pretty much that. Also, I think part of it, at least, and I'm sure it's the same for you as it is for me, like I think there's this, by having sort of gained a certain amount of people who watch you and follow what you do, like you want to tell them, you want to give them stuff.
Exactly.
Because like you're thankful and you're like, oh my God, like this person's been around and I want to be able to make stuff for you. And then, but like you said, we've sort of transitioned to this point in our lives where it's a lot harder to get things made, and it's tough because like you want to make stuff and you want to share stuff.
In November, we shot an entire movie. It was like a 9-minute short. It was small. It was all like in one room and everything. Yeah. But it got done, and I didn't even finish cutting it, honestly. And I was just like, this just isn't up to snuff. And that's another thing that starts changing the more you make stuff and the higher you set the bar for yourself. Hopefully, you get to a point where you're like, this just isn't like, this isn't as good as what I should be making right now.
Yeah, I had a whole video that I shot and I had to eventually just go, no, I don't want to upload something if I just in no way feel like it's up to the standard that, like you said, you've set for yourself. Because like, maybe 2 years ago it would have been fine.
Yeah, sure.
I want to give you stuff that is me saying like, hey, this is the latest thing I've done.
Right.
And it's inherently important to me that it feels like something I want to share.
You kind of, at least I do, I feel like I get hung up on like, well, there hasn't been something.
Yeah.
So if I put something out now that is supposed to be this big release, it's like, oh wow, we haven't seen something for 2 months and then this is what you got.
Yeah,
that's the other thing is it doesn't necessarily mean, like when you see something after there hasn't been anything on the channel for 2 months and then all of a sudden you see something, it doesn't mean that it took 2 months to make that thing.
Yeah.
Right now, what are you doing that no one, that you're not, that you don't have any proof of? But you swear to God, you're putting everything you got in it. Like, what's that thing right now for you?
I have one short film that looks like it is happening, which is cool. That's exciting. I get to share that. But I have been spending a lot of time on a comedy pilot, and also on a drama pilot. So that's like something I wrote over the course of like half a year. On account of it being a drama pilot, like even if I got to make it, like it wouldn't be the kind of thing that would go on my channel. Also,
Sure.
I don't know if anytime soon I'll get to make it because I feel like right now people expect comedy stuff from me. Mm-hmm. So that's, for instance, an example of like, that's like a project that is like, would be an hour long and it would be a series and it would be all those things, and I've spent a lot of time trying to figure out how it works, but no one will know for the foreseeable future.
Because not to then also be like as if we need it's not like we need the gratification. It's like it's very unique to this like YouTube thing.
Yeah.
Where I feel like I owe it to the audience, like to be like, no, I swear I'm working, and it's like not like because we need to be told like, oh, good job, you're working. Like, it's like I don't need that. It's just more like you want to be believed, because there is this attitude almost where it's like when you don't see someone post stuff, you assume that they're just not doing anything.
Yeah.
That's and there's just a million of those age-old excuses of like realities of needing money and that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
I mean, a whole lot of my time for since last July has been doing like freelance music stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like that stuff that it's still taking me time. I'm still having to like sit there and really, put myself in it. Like it'd be good.
Well, I suppose both of us, there is that key transition where it's like, okay, no longer...
Can't just do it every weekend.
Exactly. I can't just meet up with my friends and shoot something in the backyard. Like nowadays, not only do I kind of need money and need to be doing something important, but also like my friends need money.
You notice that quality shift in what it takes to actually be consistent, and like it's like the bar is getting even for like the vlogging kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
like
like
even a vlog nowadays, you want to like spend some time like writing it, figure out what you're gonna say.
What are you saying? What's the
and you want to
point?
make sure it's and like you underestimate like that takes time. It takes on average at least 5 years to get a thing done. Like for a movie, like that's insane.
And it's bonkers to think of that. I mean, but it's also amazing. I mean, it's exactly what I want. It's not like I look at that and I'm like, oh, never.
And it's this is something we've been talking about a lot. It's like it's a lot of waiting, and it's a lot of hopefully this will go somewhere.
Right.
And that's so like a thing where it's like it's an industry with a lot of no's, like or a lot of like maybe you'll hear from us, but you never hear from them.
Nothing. I don't want to promise things anymore.
Yep.
And it's something I've really I not to pat myself on the back, but it was just because I learned the lesson in a hard way where people get angry when you don't actually do the thing that you were so certain of.
Yeah, I made
It doesn't matter how sure you are. It doesn't matter that in the beginning of it you love it and you're like, how could I ever drop this idea? Like you're writing it, you're thinking about it all day, you're listening to music and imagining it. You're like, this is gonna be it. I'm doing it next week. And then like just some little thread gets pulled out and you're like, oh, this isn't gonna happen ever.
I made the mistake most on my vlogging channel where I was like, I just didn't know what I was gonna do with it. I was like, I'm gonna do this, and then sort of realized actually no, it's not what I'm gonna do. So I have to be wary of like promising people things.
Yeah, and that's another thing that is very, very unique to starting, as a filmmaker, as any person on YouTube, like on this internet. Like everybody needs to know what you're doing on social media and like Instagramming constantly. And I'm here and I'm here and I'm here and I'm on set now and I'm writing this and like
I'm just shooting this. Get excited.
Right.
Whereas like nowadays it's like I'm shooting this. It's a pilot, so you might never see it.
I might not be ever even allowed to show you.
Yeah.
Away, my friggin' short is again another thing where it's like I've stopped promising. Like in last summer, I was positive it was going to be done by Christmas.
Right.
Other things that seem very promising kind of come up, and you're sort of like, oh, well, I need to, like I came like an opportunity to write something that someone will see, and it's like, okay, well, I got to do that really quick then, and then that's my focus for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then you're waiting to hear, but then you've sort of lost momentum on the thing that you. And again, it's like it's not like these are excuses, because then it's we just should be better. You just should learn from that and then be better at it. But it's like we're still learning.
It's interesting because you're right. It's definitely the consequence of like having an audience this early on, and you're making your first mistakes
in front of people.
Yeah, while having people who are following you.
I always say that like there's so many there's so many things of mine online that no one was ever supposed to see. Like these were the point. Like that was a point in me becoming a writer, becoming a filmmaker, or whatever it is, where it's like you weren't supposed to be there for that.
I always think to myself like this would be slightly terrifying, because imagine like in some kind of perfect world, right? Like it gets announced like, Dom, you're directing the new, I don't know, Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, right? Like you're directing the new Spider-Man, and like there would be people who would then like be like, okay, who's this guy? They look up your name, and they would go to like your first ever video and be like, they're giving this guy Spider-Man? No. Which is interesting, because I always imagine that like previous like first time directors wouldn't have that issue, because like their show reel wouldn't be so like publicly available. But on the other hand, I can't help but think that's probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. Especially if the film turns out to be good, people can be like, oh cool, like they started somewhere.
Sure. It's fair when you're 15. Yes, that matters that you were a kid. What you made it mattered how old you were. It just does. But there's a certain point where what about when I was 19? What about when I was 18? Does the context matter? Because also you don't want content. Like I don't know. That's
you want the word to speak for itself.
Coming out here, that was one of my big kind of fears as well. Where it's like when I'm just a name, when a script is being handed to somebody and I'm just the name that's underwritten by, and no one knows who I am or how old I am or whatever it is, I don't want people to have to think, oh, well, he's 23. He's still learning. He's still getting better. I want someone just to go in and be like, oh, that's actually really good.
Yeah, a big part of the reason I remember when I initially moved out here was because I didn't want to be that kid who's doing good on YouTube. I wanted to like challenge myself to be in an environment where like people weren't going to give a shit about the YouTube thing, and like I would have to prove myself.
You need it. You need that. Yeah, it's. I think it's dangerous to live in that bubble for too long. I don't know what your experience was like. I don't know how many people knew, and it helps not being an asshole. But like sometimes that almost had like a negative effect on how I was
perceived.
Yeah, but like other times I'm like so happy. I'm like, God, please. I needed to be like humbled. I needed to be brought down in my head. In my opinion, it only helps when you sort of have a little tick in the back where you're sort of like, it's great to believe in yourself and to like believe that your thing is going to be great and it's going to turn out well. But like, it really helps to be like, could this be better?
Yeah,
like, is this good? Is this really good? Or is it good because it's on YouTube?
The fact that you're willing to just put things out there, they assume confidence. But it's funny because like you're just as insecure as any other creative person. Like you know, like you have your own issues with it, and if anything, the exposure in a way can breed its own kind of insecurity because it like adds this whole like,
for sure.
Oh God, you know. Like,
I don't think honestly, I'm not sure I've ever like, because you always hope, but I don't think I've ever once uploaded something and been like, everyone's going to love this.
Yeah, same.
It's just like, here you go.
Yeah. We lost some light. Look at that. We're getting darker.
I'm working on something that I'm trying to get, you know, turned into like a web series kind of thing, and that's like a thing that's been very exciting and very promising, but could still literally go nowhere. I've been working on like a bunch of different feature things. Right now I'm writing something that I'm trying to get to like this contest sort of thing that maybe then I'd be able to shoot on my own. But yes, it's like, you know, you hear all that stuff. All of those things.
Yeah, none of them are promises. None of them are like, this is the thing you're going to definitely see.
Yeah. And I don't know if that makes us, you know, but wow, we really did lose a lot of light.
Yeah.
So yeah, how do we end this?